Welcome to That's Good Sports, first Power Rankings episode of 2020. I'm Brandon Perna, and I wait until the guessing is done before I bestow levels of power to NFL teams. Today, I'll break down the top 16 teams who are in the playoffs or competing for a playoff spot, which, by a Jesus-level miracle, does include the Washington football team, formerly known as the team God forgot. Let's rank these bad boys as I aim to piss off the 92% of you who think your team is better than it really is. I will also post a graphic for your team's playoff scenarios if they apply, and you will just have to read those graphics because it would be super redundant if I just stated every dumb thing that needs to happen for your team to clinch, like Lamar's butt when Trace McSorley got hurt. Let's go sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for continued weird football coverage on YouTube. Also, thumbs up the video. Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports. It's December, which means it's time to start thinking about the holidays. They're close. Or as I'm calling them, the bolidays. Just like me, Christmas always seems to come early. So fellas, dudes, bro guys, men, boys, now's the time to start putting the performance package on your list of gifts you'd like to receive this holiday season. Because when your lady sees the words performance package, she'll know it's a gift for both of you. The performance package now includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer and the Lawnmower 3.0, the only below the elastic waistband pube trimmer to feature skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts in that very special region. So use my discount link below, manscaped.com/goodsports, which will have your stockings overstuffed with 2 free gifts, 20% off, and now free international shipping. Power Ranking. Coming in at number 16, we've got the Washington football team. We know the NFC East in 2020 is an anomaly in terms of producing a real playoff contender. Even with the football team's defense playing top 10 level ball, I have very little faith in the lowest scoring playoff team. Washington averages 22.1 points per game. All of the playoff teams and those in the hunt have 2 things in common. They average at least 25 points per game, and they're positive or break even in the turnover differential. The football team is the only one at -2. The other turnover losers? The Raiders and Vikings, who I have at a tie at 15. Both are pretenders at -5 in the turnover differential department. I really should exclude the Raiders completely. Firing a defensive coordinator in December is usually a move reserved for a team about to draft in the top 5. The Vikings, in my opinion, are better than the Raiders because I think they have a defense good enough to, not get their defensive coordinator fired. If Josh Jacobs and Dalvin Cook aren't controlling the game on the ground, neither team is worthy of their savage mascot ancestry. At 14, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. Finally, the Cards got a win that didn't require a Hail Mary. All they had to do was play a shitty Giants team that gave up 8 sacks. I want to believe in the Cardinals, just like I want to believe that I'm still growing. Something Kyler Murray and I have in common. The Cardinals are, in my opinion, a perfect we're a year away team right now. They haven't beaten any good teams except for the Bills, which took a miracle, and the Seahawks when Jamal Adams was still hurt and Russell Wilson boiled up 3 bad interceptions. Miami Dolphins at 13. Miami's weakness is the quarterback position. And I say that admitting Tua has been great for a rookie. Just 1 pick in 6 starts, but also just 9 touchdowns. That would be good enough to believe in for the Dolphins making a playoff run if they were a top 10 rushing team. and they are far from it at just 95 rushing yards per game, 6th worst in the league. Plus, Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki are banged up now as Miami tries to close out the season with wins. Rip Van Ginkel's magic has them as the 2nd best defense in points allowed per game. Assuming the Chiefs game was an outlier, this is how the Dolphins succeed for the rest of the season. Defense, special teams, safe play on offense. Bucks, here they are at 12. Hard to be higher than the number your quarterback wears when your linemen are scared of Gronk spikes. Tampa is very capable of beating any team in the league, but they have lost twice to the Saints and could not beat the Rams or the Chiefs, and may have very well lost to the Vikings had Dan Bailey made any kicks last week. Tom Brady is still a good quarterback, but he is not as consistent as he used to be. He misses easy throws every single game, and that will get you bounced in the postseason. The Bucks defense has lost its dominant ways. Once the hardest to score on, now not even in the top 10. Coming in at 11, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans should just change their name to the Tennessee Henrys. When he is on, the Titans are one of the best teams in football, in my opinion. Henry is one of the most unstoppable running backs I've ever watched. The rare back to get paid and still perform at peak level. Zeke, Le'Veon. The Titans maintain their tiebreaker over the Colts in the AFC South as they have kicked the Colts' ass this season and also had their asses kicked by the Colts. Only Titans fans, not an OnlyFans plug, really know this team is all about offense. 4th highest scoring unit in the league, just ahead of Indy. Tannehill has been brilliant this season, just 5 interceptions to 28 touchdowns. He's over 3,200 passing yards, has great weapons in A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, and if tight end Jonnu Smith can resume the type of production he had in the first month of the season when he scored 5 of his 7 touchdowns, Tennessee can stay atop their division. Their weakness? On a good day, the Titans' defense is average. On a bad day, they look like the Cowboys. They have given up over 30 points 6 times this season, and luckily won 2 of those games. Coming in at number 10, the Ravens. Baltimore at 10 is currently the best team not in the playoffs. I would easily take them over the Vikings and Raiders, and let's not even pretend the Bears are playoff worthy right now in terms of teams on the bubble. The Ravens might be getting hot at just the right time, like we witnessed with Tennessee last season. I think Baltimore is just figuring out how to play without all-pro tackle Ronnie Stanley and tight end Nick Boyle, 2 very key components to their blocking and rushing attack. The defense is getting healthy and needs to not play like they did against the Browns. The Browns coming in at 9. The main reason I have the Browns ahead of the Ravens, even though they just lost to Baltimore, is because the Browns control their playoff destiny. They are the 5th seed right now with 9 wins, with 2 games coming up against the Jets and Giants. The Browns should rush for over 200 yards in both of those games. Cleveland plays their final game against the Steelers, which could be interesting if Pittsburgh loses to the Colts, although I think the Steelers still have the tiebreaker since Cleveland has lost 3 division games and 1 already to the Steelers, who are ranked at number 8. Steelers fans will scream about defensive injuries. Broncos and 49ers fans are rolling our fucking eyes. Pittsburgh has essentially been decimated at the linebacker position. Devin Bush went down early in the season, then edge rusher Bud Dupree, and Bush's replacement Robert Spillane. To me, that's not an excuse for losing to the football team. And the Bills, well, they're just better than Pittsburgh. All the Steelers need to do is move Derek Watt to defense and have him on the edge opposite TJ. And maybe change his name to DJ. Why he's not a fullback and not a premier pass rusher like the rest of his brothers is a bigger mystery than the immaculate reception. But I guarantee he will be more impactful on that side of the ball because nobody is running in that Pittsburgh offense despite how many holes he opens up. Biggest weakness? dropped passes, and rushing the ball. One of those has to drastically improve for the Steelers to be considered dangerous this postseason. At 7, ranks of power, the Seahawks. In their last 2 games, the Hawks have lost to the Giants and beat the Jets by 37. That should tell you just how atrocious the Jets are. Now we know DK Metcalf can play offense and defense and stiff arm almost as violently as Derrick Henry. We know Russell Wilson and that offense can go touchdown to touchdown with the best in the NFL, especially now that Chris Carson is back from injury. Tyler Lockett is the definition of underrated, but what I don't know yet is if their defense is actually improving. Jamal Adams is making an impact. That's a fact, but their last 3 games have been against the Jets, Giants, and Eagles, and again, they lost to the Giants. They play Washington this weekend, and with 3 games against the NFC East in their final 6, should be in first place. But they're not. I think the Week 16 game against the Rams will tell us whether or not Seattle's defense can hang in the playoffs. That unit has moved from giving up like the second most points per game to 24.9, which is middle of the road. But my theory, again, is they've been lucky to play bad offenses. Number 6, the Saints. The New Orleans Saints, on the other hand, do have a good defense. But even they have benefited statistically from playing the Broncos, who were forced to start an emergency wide receiver at quarterback, and the Falcons twice in 3 weeks, and then the Eagles, to whom they lost. New Orleans is tied with Green Bay at 10-3 and could use the bye week more than anyone, as that could give Drew Brees an extra week to make sure the Gorilla Glue is dry and that his ribs will stay intact, instead of being sourced for the most expensive McRib to date. All money does go to charity, though. Now, Taysom Hill is the Jameis Winston of fumbling, which is still somehow better than being the Daniel Jones of fumbling. And everything depends on Drew Brees returning and being able to throw a football further than, say, 8 yards. Assuming they don't have to play the Vikings in the postseason, Nola can make some noise. Coming in at number 5, a stat I love for Indy is that they have the highest scoring defense in the league, averaging 2.6 points per game, which is almost a full point ahead of the Ravens. That D has carried them while Phillip Rivers got his feet wet in the rivers. Julian Blackmon, one of the most underrated rookies this season on that defense. Another rookie, running back Jonathan Taylor, is solidifying himself as the best weapon on the Colts offense. He's averaged 7 and 7.5 yards in the last 2 games, put up a $150 against the Raiders, and has scored 3 total touchdowns in the last 2 games. Anytime he gets at least 20 carries, the Colts win. And there's no better time to lean on him than right now. Rams at number 4. Why can the Rams be the 4th-ranked team even though they score the fewest points per game of any team on this list not named football team, which isn't even a name, which makes what I said a bit confusing. It is because their defense is one of the stingiest. The Rams are a very complete team, just 18.9 points per game given up, 3rd best in the league right now, trailing only the Dolphins and Steelers. And I like their running attack. Since it's been by committee, people don't realize the Rams have rushed the ball very well all season, 128 yards per game, and the defense is the 3rd toughest to run against. Plus, Aqib Talib puts that secondary atop his no-fly zone frequently. Frequent no-flyer zone miles from a Talib. And anytime Bill Belichick says this to another head coach, you know he's good.
Good luck, Chris.
Great job, yeah. You killed us. Yeah, you had a great plan.
Appreciate it, man.
Had a good team, yeah. Good luck, yeah. You too, kid. Good job.
And we've got the Buffalo Bills at number 3. I've got the Bills at 3 in honor of the 3-year project that Josh Allen has been. He's the number 1 reason they're contenders this year, not their defense. Although, getting Matt Milano back after he missed almost all of November with an injury has been key for the Bills' D. Buffalo's weakness is their run defense, and if they have to play, say, the Titans, Ravens, or Colts in the playoffs, those are matchups I do not like for the Bills. They give up 120 yards per game on the ground, which is 13th worst. Not horrible by any means, and they have actually been stout the last 3 games. What Buffalo needs to do is to get a lead early that forces the teams they play to throw the ball. All 3 of the Bills' losses have occurred when they gave up a shit ton of rushing yards. 139 to Tennessee, 221 to the Chiefs, and 217 to Hail Murray. Stop the run, Buffalo. Number 2, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers, and my hopes that he bests Patrick Mahomes in the MVP race is why Green Bay is head of the Billies here. I genuinely don't think any quarterback is playing better than Aaron Rodgers this season. And now that we know Rodgers is a time traveler, I like his odds of getting to the Super Bowl even more. No man jumps time and space just to win 1 Super Bowl. Green Bay does have a glaring weakness though, just 13 turnovers for their defense this year, 8 picks and 5 fumbles. Luckily, Aaron Rodgers is incredibly safe with the football, which is why he makes a great insurance spokesman, but if the Packers want to get to the Super Bowl, they need to give Rodgers 1 or 2 extra scoring opportunities per game via an increase in the turnover department. Which leads us to the Chiefs at 1. Yes, even I have to tuck my balls between my legs and admit the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. They dug themselves out of a hole and embarrassed the Dolphins last week. Travis Kelce leads the league in receiving yards and will probably break the tight end receiving record George Kittle set 2 seasons ago. And Tyreek Hill is tied with Devontae Adams for most receiving touchdowns at 14. The Packers score about a half point more per game than the Chiefs, yet the Pack has lost 2 more games, and it is because the Chiefs simply have a better defense and special teams. Mason Crosby and Harrison Butker are both great. Mason is 15 of 15 this season, but has missed time because of an injury. And in the return game, the Chiefs have McCole Hardman and or Tyreek Hill. KC is top 10 in points allowed per game and is +8 in the turnover differential, which means they don't really have any glaring weaknesses, and I fucking hate them. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Click the video on the screen if you would like to watch more.